Hi again. Walter Rauschenbusch, Christianity and the Social Crisis, page 85. The subhead now is The Revolutionary Consciousness of Jesus. There was a revolutionary consciousness in Jesus, not of course in the common use of the word revolutionary, which connects it with violence and bloodshed. But Jesus knew that he had come to kindle a fire on earth. Much as he loved peace, he knew that the actual result of his work would be not peace, but the sword. His mother in her song had recognized in her own experience the settled custom of God to put down the proud and exalt them of low degree, to fill the hungry with good things and to send the rich empty away, according to Luke chapter 1. King Robert of Sicily recognized the revolutionary ring in those phrases and thought it well that the Magnificat, as the Latins call that song of Mary, was sung only in Latin. The Son of Mary expected a great reversal of values. The first would be last, and the last would be first. He saw that what was exalted among man was an abomination before God, and therefore these exalted things had no glamour for his eye. This revolutionary note runs even through the Beatitudes, where we should at least expect it. The point of them is that henceforth those were to be blessed whom the world had not blessed, for the kingdom of God would reverse their relative standing. Now the poor and the hungry and sad were to be satisfied and comforted. The meek, who had been shouldered aside by the ruthless, would get their chance to inherit the earth, and conflict and persecution would be inevitable in the process. We are apt to forget that his attack on the religious leaders and authorities of his day was of revolutionary boldness and thoroughness. He called the ecclesiastical leaders hypocrites, blind leaders who fumbled in their casuistry and everywhere missed the decisive facts in teaching right and wrong. Their piety was no piety. Their law was inadequate. They harmed the men whom they wanted to convert. Even the publicans and harlots had a truer piety than theirs. If we remember that religion was still the foundation of the Jewish state, and that the religious authorities were the pillars of existing society, much as in medieval Catholic Europe, we shall realize how revolutionary were his invectives. It was like Luther anathematizing the Catholic hierarchy. His mind was similarly liberated from spiritual subjection to the existing civil powers. He called Herod, his own liege sovereign, that fox. When the mother of James and John tried to steal a march on the others and secure for her sons a pledge of the highest places in the Messianic kingdom, Jesus felt that this was a backsliding into the scrambling methods of the present social order, in which each tries to make the others serve him. And he is greatest who can compel service from most. In the new social order, which was expressed in his own life, each must seek to give the maximum of service, and he would be the greatest who would serve utterly. In that connection, he sketched with a few strokes the pseudo-greatness of the present aristocracy. Ye know that they which are supposed to rule over the nations lord it over them, and their great ones tyrannize over them. Thus shall it not be among you. The monarchies and aristocracies have always lived on the fiction that they exist for the good of the people, and yet it's an appalling fact how few kings have loved their people and have lived to serve. Usually the great ones have regarded the people as their oyster. In a similar saying reported by Luke, Jesus wittily adds that these selfish exploiters of the people graciously allow themselves to be called benefactors. His eyes were open to the unintentional irony of the titles in which the majesties, excellencies, and holinesses of the world have always decked themselves. Every time the inbred instinct to seek precedence cropped up among his disciples, he sternly suppressed it. They must not allow themselves to be called rabbi or father or master. For all ye are brothers, Christ said. Christ's ideal of society involved the abolition of rank and the extinction of those badges of rank in which former inequality was encrusted. The only title to greatness was to be distinguished service at cost to self. All this shows the keenest insight into the masked selfishness of those who hold power, and involves a revolutionary consciousness emancipated from reverence for things as they are. I'll put a link onto James Orr's discussion of what it means that man is made in God's image. He's not to be tyrannized over. Rather, he is to have dominion over the things that God has created. That's the nature of the image of God in the book of Genesis. And next time, what then do we do with give to Caesar what is Caesar's?